try to, but then odds are I'll just get anybody who will come into the studio.
Yes.
So I'll try to be back very quickly.
Well, boys, tonight is a big night for Minnesota sports as the Minnesota United Loons, they're not officially called the Loons, but I'm going to call them the Loons, have their debut match in the MLS, Major League Soccer. It is tonight at 8:30 on FS1. They're in Portland, taking on the one-time MLS champions from 2 years ago. Now, last year, Portland missed the playoffs by having an incredible feat. They did not win a single road game last year, but unfortunately for us, they are at home, so they do quite well there. So
what's Portland's name? Because I only know
Timbers.
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 Okay.
And actually, a really big following.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very big in the
I was going to
Pacific
say,
Northwest.
yeah. I know Seattle has 2 teams.
They have a cool mascot. They got an actual lumberjack that slices like a piece of a tree off every time they score.
That's awesome.
Stuff like that. So it'll be rocking. It's the home opener. They sell out every game. And that's going to be an interesting environment for what's mostly minor leaguers.
This is at Portland?
Yeah, it's at Portland. Yeah, mostly minor leaguers on the Minnesota squad will be facing an environment like I'm sure they've never seen or experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is the NASL, that's the league below
that's
the MLS?
the league that they've been in, yeah.
Okay, and I think that's a pretty sharp drop from the MLS.
Yeah, I would imagine it is. It's kind of like I would imagine like the NBA D League where it's in like some cities that it might be a big thing for that city, it might not be, but the attendance is still going to be much lower than a full MLS match.
Yeah,
so.
I saw a lot about how if Minnesota would be able to hold like a 5th sports team, and I really think they will, especially if you get something new in there and the Twins are still trying to sell tickets just because they have a, quote, new stadium.
Are they counting the lacrosse team too,
out.
or not?
We had a lacrosse team for a while. We had.
Are they gone now?
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't think they're ever a force, but...
No, I don't think...
So now there's room for soccer, I guess.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Storm or something like that? I don't know. Swarm, yeah.
Swarm.
Well, I'm really excited. I am happy that the soccer scene is growing ever so slightly, even with Minnesota. But, like, it's still growing in the United States, and... I'm glad we're finally able to catch up with the rest of the world.
Definitely, yeah.
And Atlanta is also another expansion team. So there's 2 expansion teams this year that have been added to the league. So we'll see how we.
Is there any sort of prospects from Minnesota? Hello.
We'll get more on that later because we have Pulse of Campus.
Yes.
And the man is back.
Paul said, like, hello. And he said, hello. And he was just, like, looking at his phone. So it was just, like, it was really... and I just let that moment sit for a little bit. I stopped at hello, and I let that moment sit, and I waited for him to like say something, and then eventually we started talking. And I asked him to be on the show. Of course, he said no. So I went to the admissions table, and I saw my good friend. I know him as Doug. His real name is John Hollister. We were tour guides together one day.
We were.
And we shared a connection then, and I'm looking forward to, furthering that connection. So welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. I remember when you came in to admissions and you're like, hey, I want to be a tour guide. And I thought you were a freshman.
Okay.
Because a lot of freshmen come in, especially at the beginning of the year, and like, hey, how can I be a tour guide? Because they all want to get involved. And then I asked what class you were, and you're like, I'm a senior. And then we hired you right on the spot.
Right.
Because we need senior tour guides that know the campus.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. That gives me, like, a really good... I mean, I shouldn't say it. I mean, I think it gives me a better perspective than freshman because, I mean, I wouldn't have known what to say as a first year. But, yeah, so I saw you working at the admissions table out there. So what's going on right now? What's the situation?
We have a lot of prospective students being housed overnight with hosts, usually freshmen. And so I'm just there to help do the meetup. So they sign some paperwork saying no drugs, no alcohol, no leaving campus, and then hope that the night goes well.
Okay. Very cool. Did you do an overnight stay before you?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Was that a pretty important experience for you?
It was okay. I didn't really like. It was okay. I mean, the guy that I stayed with, we didn't have a lot of the same interests, but I still came here. So they can either make it or break it.
Okay.
Sometimes, but they didn't break it for me. But we have a good rate of if someone stays overnight, I think there's like a 70% chance that they're gonna come to St. Olaf.
No way.
So I have a valuable job.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I'm sure you get this question all the time, but I want to know, like,
Yeah.
as a fellow tour guide, why, if it wasn't the overnight stay, why did you choose St. Olaf?
I chose St. Olaf because of the community.
Okay.
I'm a social work major, so I'm all about building community and helping people find resources. That's why I do jobs like this.
Residence life too. I see in
Residence
your
life,
shirt.
I know.
You're
I'm
all about
rocking
it. Yeah.
this whole
Yeah,
ordeal right
it's
now.
a
I am the
nice-
typical St. Olaf student right now.
It's beautiful.
Too involved.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I ended
Okay.
up doing it. My mom told me I was always going to go to St. Olaf because she went here, and I was like, I'm not going to go where you went. And now I'm here. She won out in the end.
Okay, nice.
She slipped me an early decisions thing over breakfast, and I was like, I should probably just go. Who wants to go to Luther, Grinnell, or where else did I apply?
Uh-huh.
Lawrence. So
Okay, I'm from Appleton, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Very cool. So thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Any
You're welcome.
any other thoughts? I mean, the world is your audience right now. We have
Big
listeners from all around the
how
globe.
many listeners do you have on right
so
now?
I'm looking at the it looks like it moves so fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
ever
can
since
tell.
you came on, it started like jumping.
Oh,
up.
hey,
so
everyone.
thank you for coming
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
We're at about 2,000.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. So, if I had to tell
Divide that
2,000
by
people,
1,000. Sorry.
Okay, 2. We're
Yeah.
2. Okay.
Shout out to mom and dad. Thank you for listening.
I want your mom and dad to know that you have a good son. I see him around campus, see him at different social functions on the weekends, and I just say, "Hey, how are ya?" And then we say hi to each other, shake hands. We go by nicknames.
Right.
We can never remember which one's Doug or Ryan.
Yeah.
So whoever starts the conversation says, "Hey, Ryan," and the other one has to play the role of Doug.
I really don't know how that started. I think I
don't
just
know.
saw you and you looked like a Doug.
Yeah, I think that's what you told me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I said you look like a Ryan. So
Yeah.
that's how it
Ever
worked.
since, yeah.
And we've just been St. Olaf friends ever since.
It's been
been
great.
good.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to know a little bit more about you. I didn't know you were a social work major. I didn't know the community was a big aspect. So, yeah, thank you for coming on, Doug.
You're welcome.
John. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call me.
Uh-huh.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Yeah, get those prostitutes to come here.
I will.
Okay, just another successful edition of Pulse of Campus. Really cool to get the perspective. We're trained professionals. We're radio professionals. It's cool to get the perspective of a student.
Yeah.
Man, I remember way back when I was a student. Good times, but it's hard to relate. Right now. So sorry to interrupt. What were you guys talking about?
Oh, we were just discussing how the Loons have their opening game today.
Yes.
And a little bit about the matchup featuring Portland.
Okay, the
So-
Timbers.
The Timbers, that's
Yes.
right.
Odds not in their favor. That's
Odds
for
not in
sure.
their favor.
We got
Okay,
plus
what's
425 Minnesota.
Oh, my goodness.
for winning,
425?
and then
Okay.
Portland negative 170 for winning, and then plus 265 for the draw.
That's still,
Any controversial lines here that you guys would take, or
for a draw, 265 I feel like is possibly worth an investment.
So,
Just to help out our listeners, because I'm not entirely sure, but so correct me if I'm wrong. So a line of 265 would be if you bet $100, you get 265
yes.
in return.
yes, but if it's plus 265, it's the opposite. So you would have to kind of wager 265
Oh.
to gain on a margin $100.
So in this case, it's
So for if sorry, I actually screwed it up.
Okay.
So let's just start over. Plus 425 for Minnesota means that
Okay.
if I put down $100, right, the Loons win tonight.
Okay.
That situation needs to happen. I get $425.
okay.
Right,
So if it's
yeah.
minus, then you have to pay
Yeah.
the bigger amount. Okay.
Yes, and I flipped those.
So
two.
minus
Even though
170,
I'm
you
a
have to
veteran
bet
bettor.
170 to get the 100.
Wait,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what's Minnesota's?
Plus 425.
Wow.
So it's just saying
if
like
you
there's such
put
a low.
$1 down.
You'd win $4.25.
Oh, never mind.
You want to get
You have to bet 100 to get
Yeah,
the
no,
425.
I remember as a kid, I'd always look and I'm like, I could put $1 down
Yeah.
and win $425. Like, this is my new life.
That's still
stupid.
staggering because for a lot of the lines in just like a one-game situation, you'll rarely see anything over 200 in like the NBA.
Yeah,
or, like,
I think soccer, it gets up there. Just what I'm looking at, like the sheet right now,
Yeah.
because tonight Chicago's plus 506, and
Wow.
they're usually at the bottom of the MLS table, but they're an MLS team. Like
Yeah.
they've done this before.
They're
where the
consistent.
Loons, who even knows what's going to happen tonight?
yeah.
So I think when there's three options of like a draw and two different wins, that it spreads that out. I mean, each thing has a 1/3 chance
Yeah.
of happening.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Very cool. So we only have 7 minutes left. And I want to just quickly do my newest segment, and then we'll do a sign off for everyone listening. But my newest segment, this will just be the second installment. It's called Walking Through Manitou. As many of you former Olies know and Olie parents know, Manitou Heights is the name of the campus, the physical campus of St. Olaf. And right now I'm doing an independent study on the history of St. Olaf, so I'd just like to share a bit of the knowledge that I've gained about St. Olaf. So one interesting thing I read about recently was Rolvag Library. So in 1927, Hoyme Chapel burned to the ground. Prophetically, the day before, the Manitou Messenger was talking about the potential risks of fire damage on campus. And I do not make this up, and they said specifically that Hoyme Chapel would be in danger of burning down. I asked the author of the book, actually, on Wednesday, if he perceived any potential foul play, because it seemed a little too coincidental. But he said there's no way. He said it was just purely happenstance. So anyway, they lost this chapel, and President Bow was the president at the time, and he made the really important decision of, instead of building a new chapel, building a library, which was really more important for the school at that point. Then they were using tiny old Steensland Library, and for people who've been on campus, Steensland is very small. And from what I read in the textbook, very cramped, like sardines, extremely cramped in there. So they really needed a new space, because this wasn't, at this point, it was started by Norwegian immigrants who were very passionate about their Lutheran religion, but they're also trying to become an academic institution. So trying to balance that with academic prowess with the library, or religious fervor with the chapel, was a very important decision. And President Bow made the very smart decision in building this new library. But then the final part of this story is that there was a huge controversy on what to name the library. They came up with Ole Rolvag, mainly because the students were so adamant that it would be named that, after the late author of the book Giants of the Earth, which was a very famous book. And Ole Rolvag was a St. Olaf graduate and former professor. But unfortunately, a lot of the alumni did not want the library to be called Rolvag Memorial Library, because in his book Giants of the Earth, he used a lot of swear words, and wasn't the most moralistic of writings either. So a lot of alumni were up in arms about that, but at the end of the day, the students were very passionate about the name being Rolvag Memorial Library, that they ended up naming it that, and it is still standing to this day. And that has been Walking Through Manitou, edition 2. Okay, so we have 4 minutes left on the show. Just time for some closing thoughts, maybe what you're going to do tonight, or maybe just a shout out for whoever's listening. You can go first, Ryan. You're not quite ready, but
I'm ready.
Okay.
No, all I have to say is, if you ever do get a deep stain, you should try to get it out in the first 30 to 60 minutes after.
I thought you were going to say days there. So that's
No. 30 to 60 minutes once it is soaked into the fabric.
Mm-hmm. And don't use a Tide pen.
And
because
don't
the jury's
use-
out on if they're even real.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Best bet is to grab a Crayola crayon.
Yep. Just white it out.
That's all I've got.
Okay. Closing thoughts. I just want to thank all of you for having me, and I would love to come back if you would let me.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you for coming on the show.
It's been a
I'm
positive
seeing a
experience.
regular role for
This
you.
is my high.
Yeah.
This is
That's
my
awesome.
high.
That's great.
My closing thoughts, we had some users doing kind of the socials for our show right now. And one of the users says that when you guys were playing this song, my dad, who's recording it, said the singing was so good, he rushed to turn it down so we wouldn't be kicked off YouTube for copyright issues. So,
Wow. That warms my heart. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
so-
Mr. Lee.
you got one fan already in the
Perfect.
books.
Perfect. So this has been Spooning. I'm your host, Dan Hagan. We'll be back next week. And look out for potentially a podcast coming.